Hello, my dear friends. I once again welcome you all in this new class, and in this class, we are going to talk about a topic which is not so much discussed as other topics related with literature. Friends, in this lesson, we will talk about citation styles. Many of you who are pursuing their PhD and have done some research work, they are well aware of the fact that citation is a very integral and important part of our research. But those students who have still not went into their PhDs and who are not working on some research, this topic may be rather new for them, and I hope this lesson will tell them about some important facts about citation styles. And even in our NTA NET paper, questions are asked about certain citation style, and whenever we write a research paper, we must be aware of the latest citation styles, which styles are followed by the standard procedures. So friends, let's talk about what is citation and what are the common citation styles. First of all, the basic definition of citation, that the citation is a bibliographic reference or a footnote that expresses a connection between the two documents. Two documents. Whenever we do research, we obviously takes help from some other resources, from some past written material. और जब हम अपनी research के अंदर we refer to some other material, we have to point out through the help of citation. A citation is the information about the source from which a writer has borrowed something. We have done it so many times, even from our postgraduate level, but we don't know that there is a particular systematic science and method regarding the mentioning of a reference, and this lesson is all about the proper procedure for it. Let's look at some definition. That is a basically theoretical part, and you must know these definitions. Sometimes they can also be asked in your paper. First one is from Harold's Librarian Glossary, 1984 it was published, and a reference to a text or part of a text identifying the document in which it may be found. Here I have basically, though there is a technical fine difference between a citation and a reference, but by and large we can treat them same, especially in research methodology. So Harrod Librarian Glossary says, what is a reference? A reference to a text or a part of text identifying the document in which it may be found. So this citation is basically a reference through which we can know about the source from which the citation or reference has been taken. Similarly, the Glossary of Library Science Technical Terms, 1980, it defines it a reference. What is citation? It is a reference to a text to identify a quotation from it. In very simple words, this particular book points out that citation is nothing but a reference to a text and to identify a quotation from it. Let's take one more definition from New International Webster Dictionary, 1996. It says that the act of citing of a passage quoted. Very simple, minimalistic words, and the clear message is it is the act of citing of a passage which is quoted in some other text, that is known as citation. And the last one, International Encyclopedia of Information and Library Science, it defines citation as a reference to a text or part of a text identifying the document in which it may be found or the format of such a reference, which would typically include the author, title, and bibliographic description bibliographic description of the document. So basically in this definition we have all the elements of a citation. देखिए सबसे पहला citation के अंदर source जहां से लिया गया है और इस source को एक particular format के अंदर present किया जाता है, and this format includes name of the author, title, publication year, publication company, page number. There are so many things which we can include in a citation. Many of you have heard about MLA. MLA is the most popular citation style for humanities, and we students belonging to English literature, when we write research paper, when we do our thesis work, we follow this MLA style, which is basically updated time after time. Okay. There is one more technical term, that is list of references. It is basically a list that enumerates all documents cited in the text of a thesis, research article, project report, etc. Whenever we write a research paper, whenever we write a thesis, at the end of this thesis, the last part of thesis is this list of references, and this list, it is an exhaustive list. Whatever diagrams, quotation, references, data which you have included, which you have taken from some other sources, they must be printed, they must be cited at the end of your text. And what is the information that a citation include? It includes name of the author, title, edition, name of the journal, volume, pages, year, and many more. Look at that, we are now living in an age where there is so much material available on electronic media. So even electronic media sources are also get mentioned in a citation. Okay, there are two more things which we should know before we move forward to citation style. First, different type of citation. The first and very common citation style is InText Citation. Now, what is InText Citation? It is also known as parenthetical citation. The reason behind it, it is always put into these kind of parentheses. Typically, they come at the end of the sentence that contains the cited material. Okay, that is why it is called InText Citation. Wherever you quote, wherever you refer to a particular source, after the end of that particular sentence, you just refer to it, you just point out the source. They include the author's last name and the publication date only. So it's a very summarized, it's very brief information about the source. For example, you are discussing about some Shakespearean play, and while analyzing you quote T.S. Eliot essay, then you just put Eliot at the end of that quotation marks, Eliot, and the year from which even there is no mention of the book. All these detailed information is either at the footnote or the endnote. The entry in the works cited or reference list provides further details about the source being cited, which I have already told you कि यहाँ पर ये केवल briefly हम इसको बताते हैं, and जो further later जो इनका detailed information होता है, sometimes it is at your footnote and sometimes it is in the end. Okay, footnote, it is one of the very common way of citing. It appears, as the name itself indicates, at the bottom of the page to cite relevant sources and references. Footnotes are used as citation vehicle for a short citation. Even there are some practices where footnotes have more information than the endnotes. Okay, footnote is expressed in the form of a superscripted number or a symbol just after a word or sentence whose cross reference is given at the bottom of the same page. Okay, one line is written, and in that line you just use this superscript mark, and sometimes you use some particular symbol like hash or ampersand, and then later at the bottom of that particular page you include that particular symbol, that particular, even it can be numbers 1, 2, 3, and then you put the footnote. For example, in this F. Scott Fitzgerald, This Site of Paradise, New York, Scribner, 1920-25. It has almost all the information that is relevant to particular reference. Okay, and the next one is EndNote. It is found at the end of the document or the book or a section of the book. It may be after the chapter, it may be particular last page of the last section of the thesis or the research work. It contains sources of fact from where it is refer, information and extra information on the points used in the text. These endnotes are primarily used to cite the authors and titles of the sources used in the text and arranged in a chronological order. This is important. Endnote is always in a chronological order. Okay, now we talk about an important aspect of citation, that is citation styles. My friends, different streams, different areas of studies have their own particular citation method. As I have told you that in literature we generally use MLA style. Similarly, psychology, physics, chemistry, maths, legal studies, they all have their particular styles. Mass journalism has its own style, internet has its own style. So there is a number of styles which are generally used by people belonging to different streams of studies. A citation style or a citation guide or a citation manual is a set of standards for the writing and design of documents. It depends in which particular subject, in which particular field you are working, that your citation style should be. A style manual provides uniformity in style so that all works in that particular subject, in that particular study area should have one particular standard, so that there should be no difficulty in pointing out the citation. So there should be a uniformity, and for this uniformity a particular style is followed for within a document and across multiple documents. Okay, research scholars and scientists follow several basic style manuals, and all these are defined by international standard organization. Each style has a fixed format about the order and punctuation of a citation. Both these things are very important. What is the order of particular information and which particular punctuation marks and where these punctuation marks are used, and it is the most important information, because it can create if we are not aware of these things, we may create errors which are not basically accepted at the higher level. So let's talk about some major citation styles like MLA format or APA format or Chicago format. First of all, let's talk about APA citations. My friends, I would here like to mention this fact that we must, students of literature, our focus must be understanding of MLA style, because it is only style which we people follow, but we must have some knowledge, we must have a basic idea about what are the other styles which are in use in different fields. So APA citation, it is American Psychological Association style, is often used in social sciences and other disciplines. So it is also used in some other disciplines. It has specified rules for formatting, hanging indent, alphabetical order, capitalization, italicization, and rules for reference citation. It follows a particular structure and a particular order, and it is generally used in psychology and other social sciences like sociology. Then AP style, please understand there is a difference between APA, American Psychological Association, and AP, Associated Press style book. It is more popular in the field of literature. It is an English grammar style and usage created by American journalists. It is a guide for grammar, punctuation, and principle for reporting. reporting. How do you report? How do you? It is basically, as you can see, it is formulated by American Journalist Association. So that's why it is more related with reporters. AP style book is mainly adopted by the writers in broadcasting, magazine publishing, marketing department, and PR firms, public relation firms. So it is the field where it is followed. AP style is followed. Okay, next we will talk about the blue book. It is also known as a uniform system of citation. As you can see, uniform system of citation. It is the style manual for citing to legal documents within United States. It's an important information. The blue book, this particular style is used in legal documents all across United States. So it is also another style. These are some important styles, and what I have told you, we must understand our focus must be on MLA style, and we will talk about that style in our next lesson. And for that you have to wait for some time, and before that I would like to thank you for your support, and continue supporting this lesson and these particular channel Lit ECT, and I hope you are finding these lessons important. Thank you, my friends.